4 bike riders hit and critically injured by a car in Venice this morning. What troopers believe happened.
Plus 4 boats on fire at a local marina. What investigators say fueled those flames.
And we're getting reports of red tide on some Suncoast beaches again. What's causing the patchy bloom to impact some beaches and not others? Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at 6.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Our top story this hour, we continue our coverage from Venice, where 4 bike riders were hit by a car this morning. It happened at the intersection of Center Road and Rockley Boulevard. ABC7's Rebecca Fernandez joins us live now from the scene with the latest on that investigation. Rebecca, what can you tell us this evening?
Jacqueline, Scott, well, the roads have been cleared now and are back open. And anyone who drove by here today at any hour can see that this was a tragic accident. But officials say they still can't give us any definite answers of what happened. Debris and pieces of bicycles were scattered all across Center Road. 4 bike riders were hit by this car at around 8:30 this morning. 3 of them were airlifted and 1 was taken by ambulance, but they are all in critical condition at Sarasota Memorial Hospital.
Well, anytime you have a 2,000-pound vehicle versus some of these bikes only weigh a few pounds and a person is usually very bad.
We know a 92-year-old woman was driving that car. What we don't know is why or how it happened. The Florida Highway Patrol tells us they think the riders were in the outside bike lane and tried to cross to the left when the accident happened.
When I ride, that's one of the things I will not ride in the bike lane. I will not ride on the street. I always ride on the sidewalk. And this is why.
In Florida, it is not illegal to ride bikes in the street, but riders have to stay in the bike lane unless there is something in the road or there is no sidewalk where they can make a turn. So the fault of this accident is still being determined.
It's like sobriety, distractions that we're going to look at because, we have 4 people that are seriously injured. And we take that serious. There's someone's children, someone's husband, so we want to make sure that we're doing our diligent investigation out here so that we can come to those conclusions.
The Florida Highway Patrol will be giving us an update later this evening, so as soon as we know any new information, we will update you on air and online. Live in Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC7, your Suncoast News. Back to you guys.
All right, Rebecca, thank you. Troopers also investigating a separate fatal crash in Venice. Troopers say 30-year-old Robert Sealand was heading north on Venice East Boulevard around 3:15 this morning. When he got near Woodrose Way, troopers say he drove onto the median, hit 2 wooden posts. He then hit some trees, crossed over to the other side of the road, and crashed into a large oak tree. We spoke to a man who heard the whole thing from his bedroom window.
The street has its occasional speeders, but this time of night at 3 in the morning, there's virtually no traffic and there's no drag racing. It's a very quiet community and everybody pretty much keeps to themselves, and nothing like this that I've seen. So.
Sealand died at the scene. Troopers say he was not wearing a seatbelt.
New images into our newsroom tonight from Sarasota Police Department. They say they're investigating an accident involving a truck and a large tree. The accident happened along 10th Street next to Gillespie Park in Sarasota earlier this afternoon. Police say the driver accidentally caught a low-lying branch of an older tree, which made it come down on top of the truck's cab. Luckily, nobody was injured.
More breaking news this afternoon out of Venice. Multiple boats caught fire at a popular marina and police are now investigating. Here's what we know so far. Venice Fire Rescue called to the scene around 1:40 this afternoon after 2 sailboats went up in flames and then spread to 2 other boats. The fires at the Venice Yacht Club took about 2 hours to put out, and firefighters are still on the scene just in case of any flare-ups. No one was on board any of those boats when the fires broke out, and no one was hurt. Our crews were on the scene moments after the fires started, and we spoke to witnesses.
Started getting smoke and getting heavier and heavier, and then it just ignited into a full-blown fire, and then you started hearing small fuel tanks blow up, which is just because it's a sailboat. They don't have large tanks. And the rest is what you're looking at now. It did not take long. It was only probably 10 minutes max as far as flames, and the fire department got here finally, but I know there's at least 2 boats totaled out there.
Venice Fire Rescue is asking the public to avoid Tarpon Center Drive, which is closed from the Yacht Club north. While crews are still on the scene, damage estimated at around $1 million to those boats. Investigators believe the fires were likely started by an electrical issue on one of them.
Well, let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob, will those cooler temperatures last for Halloween tomorrow?
Yeah, actually, warm temperatures today. We got up to 86 degrees, and that's above average. Cooler temperatures not going to be around for Halloween or trick-or-treaters. We're going to see some cooler weather move in behind a cold front. You know, that fire, kind of sad to see all those boats go up and get damaged like that. It may have been fanned by some stronger east winds today, too, which helped in beachgoers keep that kind of breeze offshore. What we did notice today was that dry air. It's still around, very pleasant conditions. That'll moisten up a little bit tomorrow, too, so it'll be a bit muggier for trick-or-treaters. 83 right now. The humidity, look at that low at 46%. We have an east wind at 8 and the pressure 30.08 inches. The dew point pretty comfortable at 60 degrees. So warm and muggy for Halloween. Showers are expected for Friday as a cold front moves in. That cold front and the cooler air behind it really isn't going to stick around all that long. In fact, it will only be around for about 24 to 36 hours before it moves back northward as a warm front. But it will be a little bit cooler on Saturday and Sunday morning. Even Sunday, high temperatures will be slightly below average. So looks like we will see progressive frontal patterns. Once again, we could get another one on Tuesday for voting day. Back to you.
Bob, thank you. More than 3 million people in Florida have already voted. Republicans slightly outnumber Democrats who have voted early. There are more than 13 million registered voters in Florida. Two big races drawing people to the polls this year. The race for governor, featuring Republican Ron DeSantis and Democrat Andrew Gillum, along with the U.S. Senate race. Incumbent Senator Bill Nelson is facing Governor Rick Scott.
Florida voters are being asked this year to settle a long-running dispute that could result in the elimination of greyhound racing in the Sunshine State. Among a long list of proposed constitutional amendments is a measure that, if passed, would end racing at dog tracks by the end of 2020. That measure is opposed by the Florida Greyhound Association, which represents owners and breeders in the racing industry. Supporters of the plan, including Kate McFall with the Humane Society of the United States, calls the concern a scare tactic.
The opposition, they're out of talking points because we know dogs are dying and they're in harm's way, and the humane community has won the debate on the humane treatment of animals. So they're just desperate, it seems.
Florida is one of only a handful of states that still have dog racing, and passage of that amendment would be a serious blow for an industry that has been in the state for decades.
And if you need a way to get to the polls, Manatee County Area Transit will offer free bus service on Election Day next Tuesday, November 6th. The offer includes the MCAT Route 99 buses that travel into Sarasota County. Handy Bus clients can ride free if traveling to or from a designated polling location. And then Uber and Lyft are also offering free and discounted rides to polling places as well. Still to come in your Suncoast News, where beachgoers have started to feel the effects of red tide once again.
And Sarasota County is taking money from the tourism budget to pay for repairs on Ed Smith Stadium. While local business owners say that money is vital to keeping their business alive.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
Like no other. So why should your choices be ordinary? Ghibli, the absolute opposite of ordinary.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Enjoy fine wine and great foods, all while supporting a great cause. It's the 17th annual Suncoast Food and Wine Fest, happening Saturday, November 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch. Taste hundreds of wines from around the world and sample great food from the area's finest restaurants. All proceeds go to local charities and Rotary projects. For tickets and information, visit suncoastfoodandwinefest.com.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Well, we can thank the wind and tide for bringing red tide conditions back here to our area.
We had a break from some easterly winds that lasted for many weeks, but some beachgoers are finding dead fish in dark water yet again in some areas. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us live from Anna Maria Island to share how tourist-dependent businesses are keeping up with the fluctuations. Erica?
Jacqueline Scott, good evening. The problem is that red tide comes in patches. So here on Coquina Beach, while we may see some dead fish here and there, it may not be a problem 12 miles south on Lido Beach. And here on Coquina yesterday, beachgoers experienced respiratory irritation. But as of this afternoon, it doesn't seem to be a problem.
Bungalow Beach Resort, how may I help you?
Many callers contacting Anna Maria Island's Bungalow Beach Resort have the same questions.
Their main concerns are there dead fish on the beach? Does it smell bad? Are there respiratory issues?
But it's hard for resort manager Corey Huffman to give a straight answer, since there isn't one.
It's different from here to Longboat Key, the next island over, down to Lido, to Siesta, to all of them.
There might be effects at one beach, and then just a beach to a mile to the north, you might not be experiencing effects.
Mote Marine Lab scientist Tracy Finara says the effects of red tide depend on bloom concentrations, currents, and wind direction. But those factors are constantly changing, making it hard to predict conditions beyond the next few days. She compared the challenge of forecasting red tide to the difficulty with projecting a hurricane weeks in advance.
We've had a fraction of that effort and funding to do that kind of research. So of course, making those long-term forecasts are going to be very difficult.
Dr. Finara wants all beachgoers to visit Mote's Beach Conditions Report System before walking out the door, so they know if there's dead fish, dark water, or respiratory irritation before stepping foot on the sand. Huffman says the changing conditions will give visitors the excuse to check out nearby beaches and patiently wait before enjoying Anna Maria.
It may be worse one day, better the next.
Scientists are able to predict future blooms and respiratory irritation a couple days in advance based on the wind and currents. But if you're heading to the beach in a couple weeks and you want to see what it's going to be like, you're going to have to wait till it gets closer to find out those conditions. Reporting live on Coquina Beach, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Erica, thank you.
You know, I think back to August when it was really bad around here, and we're certainly not at that point. Things are much better than the worst.
And I said it the other day, it looks like patchy red tide for the upcoming weeks, possibly. We may see some blooms here and there like we saw. You know, I reported on last week the fishing we did on Wednesday and said it was okay in some parts of the bay. Well, the next day it wasn't. Okay, so it's going back and forth. The wind direction we can predict, and it's going to be out of the east throughout the day tomorrow. So that's good news for beachgoers. As it was today, we had east winds, and so that does not cause a problem. Notice those waves, hardly any out there. When the waves are big, that creates the aerosolized red tide to get airborne and then carried on shore with a west to northwest wind in advance of a front. We had a little bit of that west to northwest wind over the weekend because of the cold front that moved on through. We're going to have another cold front move through, and our winds will start to change around to a southwesterly direction by Thursday. You'll notice tomorrow, though, it's all east, and it will pick up in intensity, so there's no threat of any sea breeze developing. As we move through Wednesday afternoon, still looking good, but notice there's a little bit more southeasterly wind, and that means the humidity value will start to come up a little bit. As we take a look to Thursday, you'll start to see that wind also staying rather brisk and then turning more to the south, and that brings, again, the harmful impacts if the waves are going to start to kick up, too, in advance of that frontal system, so we'll start to see a little bigger wave height. Now, I want folks to realize that we have to fall back still. Even though we passed a law saying we want to get rid of this, it's still there. Congress has to pass it, so make sure you turn your clocks back 1 hour. We gain an hour of sleep on Sunday, and do it before you go to bed on Saturday, obviously. As far as the forecast goes for Halloween and trick-or-treaters, looks good out there. It will be a bit muggy. It'll be a bit warmer, too. We'll start off at 80 degrees around 6 o'clock and wind up around 9 into the mid-70s. It will be rain-free, though, so that's good news for all the kids wearing the costumes out there and all the parents taking them along to the trick-or-treating houses. And high pressure will dominate the weather right now and still is. This is going to slip off to the southeast here throughout the day on Wednesday. Eventually, we get more of an east to southeasterly wind flow, and that will start to increase our mugginess and humidity as well. The dry air in the upper levels of the atmosphere slowly inching out of here. We still have some to deal with, so we'll see clear skies overnight and a little bit warmer tomorrow with the humidity values coming up a little bit higher. 70 degrees tonight, though, clear skies, and we're looking for this high pressure ridge right there, the center of it, to move offshore, and that will allow this front to move on in, and that front will bring us some rainfall, especially on Friday afternoon, Friday night, and into Saturday morning. And then we'll see this front return back northward as a warm front on Sunday afternoon, bringing with it a chance for showers as well. And there's another storm system will bring a cold front our way on Tuesday, which will also bring us a chance for some showers on, again, Election Day. Now, as far as goes 16 satellite, you can still see Oscar. It's still a hurricane. It's moving off to the east, northeast now, and will continue to do so. It's down to a Category 1. With winds at 85 miles an hour. Could have an impact on Ireland. Currently, it's 83, clear skies, and 46 on the humidity. The high today warmed to 86. That's above the average, which is typically right around 82 degrees, so warmer than average, a few degrees shy of the record. Now, as far as boating goes, we'll see east winds at 10 knots with a light chop out there. Seas running 2 feet, so not too bad tomorrow, but winds and seas will start to pick up on Thursday and Friday as the front approaches. You'll see pretty good chances for rain on Friday at 70%, and maybe even a few lingering on Saturday morning. Saturday looks to be okay, though. Sunday, as we get an extra hour, and we'll see a slight chance for a few showers on Sunday. Another chance for showers comes on Tuesday of next week. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Over the next 10 years, Ed Smith Stadium will need $16.5 million in repairs to keep it at Major League Baseball standards. This estimate is according to an engineer hired by the Sarasota County Commission. To pay for this, the board decided to move funds from the county's tourism tax in 2020. Instead of the 30% usually given to Visit Sarasota for marketing and promotions, the board will likely need to reduce that amount between 25 to 30% for those repairs. Visit Sarasota says this could mean up to $900,000 less in its 2020 budget.
Timing is not ideal, but the County Commission made a decision. And so our job and our focus right now is we've built a red tide recovery program. It's delivering the best program we can to help our industry recover as quickly as possible.
The county says this allocation is not written in stone and will depend on the amount of tourist development tax it receives in 2020.
Sailors from around the world are gathered in Sarasota to compete for a title of world champion, but none of them are competing on the water. That's because the 8 finalists were competing in the first ever e-sailing world championships, where people compete with one another virtually. This was all part of the 2018 World Sailing Conference. The organization teamed up with Virtual Regatta to create a game that attracts young people to the sailing world.
We're using the game to try and connect to the younger generation, trying to educate them on the sport and then trying to turn them into real-life sailors.
Although event organizers hope more people get involved in an e-sailing game, they say this isn't the future of sailing. Instead, just a tool to get more people involved in the real sport. Maybe inspire them to say, hey, this is fun online. I should try the real thing.
Give it a try. Looks fun. Well, stay with us. When we come back, we'll show you which Halloween events are family friendly across the Suncoast tomorrow.
Tonight, as a nation mourns, the President and First Lady visit the site of the synagogue massacre. As we learn new details about the alleged gunman's motive, can Americans come together? World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Blue 32! Blue 32! Hut hut! It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
For the best car buying experience, go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota, where you always get better prices and a bigger selection, like KBB's 2017 Best Buy Award overall winner, the Chrysler Pacifica, for just $22,999. Or save big and get the new Chrysler 300 Touring with an MSRP over $30,000 for just $21,999. That's a savings of over $8,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota today.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Find out first at 4 on the Suncoast with ABC7 News at 4. ABC7 News at 4 starts with a detailed look at your first alert weather forecast to help you plan and prepare. We give you a fresh, fast-paced rundown of the day's top stories and videos, including breaking news, live updates, and traffic hotspots, all at a new, more convenient time. Find out first at 4, weekdays on ABC7. Here's today's Job of the Day. ABC7 is seeking a reporter/anchor with at least 3 years reporting and anchoring experience. Producing background a plus. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
Tomorrow is, of course, Halloween, and there are plenty of events for the entire family planned across the Suncoast. In Bradenton, the community trick-or-treat stroll is perfect for families with small children. That starts at 6 o'clock in the afternoon at the Village of the Arts. In Venice, you can go to Centennial Park to watch the Venice Children's Halloween Parade. That starts at 4:30, followed by trick-or-treating at nearby stores. And if you're in Inglewood, you can stroll down Dearborn Street for the 23rd annual Halloween Safe Walk. That starts at 5 o'clock and will feature live music, a pumpkin patch photo prop, and you can take your furry friend with you because there is a pet costume contest as well.
And those are just a few.
Yeah,
There's all kinds
all sorts
happening
of
across
stuff
the area.
happening.
St. Armand Circle, Siesta Key, the Village.
Lots of
Yeah, and I
churches.
remember a few years of the Halloween that we had some really wet weather, and in fact it was postponed at one point recently. But that's not a problem this time. No tricks in the forecast. We're going to see gorgeous weather for all the events tomorrow night. Just a little bit warmer, a little bit muggier, but still manageable.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Bob. Thank you for joining us. World News Tonight with David Muir is next.
We'll see you again at 7 and 11. Have a good night.